Hello guys!
Hey guys!
So for today's video, let's talk. Let's talk about land prices, and maybe later the buying car.
Whoa, the flicker
That's
had the
a
power.
warning of our brown out there. That was flickering. There are so many viewers that were asking us about the land prices. Please make a video, and even a few people have sent us an email that can we please talk about the land prices, because they are planning to move to the Philippines, or they are planning to buy land or lot for sale in the Philippines. So we will talk about it, and what we know and what we experience in here about the land prices and everything. So it definitely matter where it is. The closer you are to maybe the town or the city, the more expensive. Of course, the city is much more expensive than just a town. Our lot here in 2017, we bought this lot in 2017, a few minutes to town. It was only 160,000 pesos, and even if you pay cash, you can even negotiate it to 150,000 pesos for 200 square meter. But then 1 year later, all of a sudden the price went up into it became, instead of 150 or around 160, it became 200,000 pesos for 200 square meter. A couple of years later, it's 250 for 200 square meter.
But we bought two lots here. So
right.
200 square meters each. We paid 160 for the first one, then, after
1 year later.
1 year later, the one next door to us was 200,000.
Yeah.
And we purchased it. So
we have two lots next to each other with a different price in it. Our neighbor right there by the store across the road from us, they bought theirs 2 years ago for 300,000 pesos. Well, because they didn't go directly to the owner. There's this dealers, land dealers.
And that's the thing here. If you can find out who the owner is, like here in where we live, there's a rice co-op where a lot of the rice farmers have, joined that. It's like a bank where they deposit money, but it's a co-op. And a lot of landowners also join that. You can go to the rice co-op, and they'll give you a list of properties, tell you what town they're in, how big they are, and square meters. And if you're interested, you go talk to them, and they'll have somebody take you around and show you. That's going to be your best way to buy land. Because if you go to these land brokers and all these other guys, they don't call them realtors here, I don't know what they call them, but you're going to pay a lot more. They tack on a fee. The person that, brought them to you, they tack on a fee, so.
Like for example, the original price of the land is only 300,000, but there's probably about two people that's dealing it, so it's gonna become like maybe 350,000.
And these co-op lists they give you, some of those foreclosed land that they couldn't pay for, so the co-op takes it back.
A lot of land for sale or lot for sale, from the direct owners, you can contact them, but it is really to buy a land directly to the owner rather than you go through these agents.
If you can find out who the owner is.
Right.
Maybe they've got a sign on their property, which a lot of them do, and that's the best way to buy.
Yeah.
But as far as prices go, prices we're talking about are in our area. Compostela, we live in Mindanao, Davao de Oro province. So that's in the Compostela Valley, and all the land here in this valley is very fertile. And so you're going to pay, probably pay a little more than if you buy land in Bohol, where the ground is real rocky, the soil's not real thick. You can get a better price, but
unless you live into near the beach in Bohol or the ocean, it's still going to be expensive.
It depends what island, where you're at, the price of land. So what we're quoting is from Compostela Valley here.
Yeah.
You can buy a rice field for
per hectare. Per hectare, the price range between 1 million to 1.5 million, but the 1 million, that's very cheap. Usually it's 1.2, 1.5, even some are 1.6, especially if you are in a rice field where it's not flooded, it doesn't get flood very easy. Then you can the price will be 1.5 or maybe up.
Yeah, a hectare, a little over 2 acres. So it all depends if you have irrigation, and if you have irrigation, the land is more valuable. If you depend on the weather, not so much. You can get a little cheaper. Of course, you depend on the weather, then you got to make sure you're not in a low-lying area that get flooded when it rains real hard. A lot of ways, if you're interested in rice farming, which, there's a little bit of money in it, but you can buy pond land. And pond land is somebody has a hectare, and they don't want to, or they don't have the finances to farm it anymore, so they'll pawn it to you for 200,000 pesos, and or whatever they decide, and you get 4 crops out of that. So you pawn it for 4 years.
2 years.
2 years, yeah. You grow the crop, you farm it, you harvest it, and you keep whatever you make out of it. So off of 2 hectares in this area, if you have a real good crop, you can make about $1,000 per season. Per season, yeah, for a hectare. And you can get 2 crops in a year. And a lot of people say, well, with the weather there, why can't you get more than 2 crops a year? And it's because you have to plant when everybody else decides to plant, when water's available or whatever, and they only do that twice a year. So you have to plant when they do. Otherwise, if you plant by yourself, all the pests, the bugs, and the rats, they're going to eat your crop. You're not going to have a crop. But you plant when everybody else does, and it kind of spreads it out a little bit. And after expenses of buying the pesticide, the fertilizer, and everything else, and then you got to pay the harvester so much money for him harvesting. You'll wind up with about $1,000 every harvest for a hectare in this area. So a couple $1,000 a year, you tie it up for 2 years. If you got extra money sitting around, might be the way to go. But you got to tie up some money in the property, and then at the end of that 2 years, you can get your money back. If the owner can't get it back, you find somebody else to pawn it from you, and you get your money back. So that's kind of the way a lot of people operate here is through pond land. Some of it doesn't always have clear title, but what you do is you go to the local barangay and sign an agreement with the owner. And that's the way mostly they do things here. Even if you buy land that doesn't have a clear title, and some people do that, buy land doesn't have a clear title, you go to the barangay with the seller and yourself and make an agreement and stipulate that you've purchased the title for this land, and your ownership, you just don't have a deed. Some people don't want to do that, other people do. So that in turn, like Marcia said, the lots around are getting a little more expensive. But yeah, we've talked about this a couple times before, and some people said, oh man, in Bohol or wherever, I got property that blah, 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 it's so cheap. Yeah, you kind of get what you're paying for. So if the ground's real fertile and soil is thick, deep, you're going to pay a little more, and that's the situation with here in Compostela Valley, where we are. There's always lots available. Like I said, you can go to the local co-op, or you could go to the bank for foreclosed lots. Yep, I'm sure they have a list too. That way, the closer you get to the seller, the cheaper you're going to pay. Anything else you want to say about that, or?
Are you done?
I think so.
Well, I'm just letting you explain things. I can't believe I let you talk for that long and without me saying something about it. I just let you, but now you're done.
I can't believe it either.
Well, yeah, because I also like to explain myself too, but I was just listening to what you were saying, and that's right. And when you want to buy a land here in the Philippines, if it doesn't have a claim title, you can have it like pawn. You can talk about pawn, but it's kind of risky though. You have to go to the barangay like you said, and make an agreement, and you have to pay like maybe 500 pesos to make the agreement, but it's really risky. So if you want to buy a land with a title in it, of course it's more expensive, because a lot of times some of the landowners here, that if it's not a clear title, maybe the owner of the land is already dead, and it is so difficult and very expensive to process the title. So that is why it is better that you maybe take it as a pawn land, or if you know the person, if you trust the person, like at my parents' case, when they got that pawn land, they know the person well, so they made an agreement in the barangay, and they got that pawn land for 2 years, and actually it's a very nice area. It doesn't get flood, and the owner was planning to sell it, but we're not sure yet. But if he is, we're hoping that he is gonna take like installment, and so 1 hectare, and maybe I don't know, he's gonna sell it for 1.2. There's no clean title for it though. So we have to have an agreement for that.
I wouldn't buy a lot that didn't have clean title to build on. But for farming, pond land, it's fine. You can do that. I would explain something else about some people confused. Like each province, like we're on the island of Mindanao, and there's many provinces here, but each province will maybe have 15, 20, depending on how big it is, 15 or 20 barangays. And a barangay is they section it up. It's kind of like a county, a barangay is, but within each barangay, they're the local governing authority for that barangay. So the barangay captain or chief, whatever he is, any disputes that come up or anything needs to be settled, they kind of go to him, to the barangay captain. Barangay captain, and they settle disputes within that barangay. If they can't settle, then they go to court. But you go to court, and just like anywhere, you're going to pay an enormous amount for the attorneys, and they're the only ones that's ever going to come out ahead. But
usually they settle the disputes here through the barangay captains. You have to go to, they will send you a summon, both parties, and then you go there Monday, and then the barangay settle it there, because
but no attorneys or anything, just
if you hire an attorney, it's gonna be so expensive, and nobody wants to spend money about they have a argument about the dog in their yard or what it is, just a very little thing. So
the barangay is like the county and the province, and they're the local governing authority for that barangay. They're responsible for keeping the roads clean, everything in that barangay. And then within the barangays, sometimes they call them barrios. There's barrios there. Barrios are a little rural village that is away from the main town in that barangay.
We're just explaining about the land, guys. Like I said that it really matters where it is, and the location of the properties or the land or wherever it is. So now maybe let's talk about the cars.
Several people have asked about buying a car here and how you finance it or pay for it or anything. So you want to talk for a while?
You can explain it.
As a foreigner here, you can buy a car and put it in your name if you pay cash. If you're going to finance it, just about like anywhere else, you got to put a third down, and you have to have a Filipino citizen that qualifies for the loan to be on the loan with you. So that's about the way to buy a car here. If you've got cash, there's no problem. You can put it right in your name. If you don't have cash, you have to finance it. You have to have a Filipino citizen on the contract that can qualify besides you.
Thing about buying cars here is, of course, it's better to buy a brand new compared to the used ones. But then a lot of people can't afford to buy a new one. So when you buy a used one and it sounds too good to be true, the car is so nice, very cheap, and really sounds too good to be true, then it's probably is, because it's very obvious here. They changed the mileage. Imagine a lot of cars 5 years and it already only have like 55,000 kilometers. That is
nothing in 5 years.
5 years, that's kilometers. That's not even miles. So it's ridiculous that they would say, oh, that's how that's only the mileage. But you know, you can't do that in the US. But in here, I don't know if they do things like that. And you know, you never know.
You can't do it in the US.
Yeah, you never know if the car is been flooded, because they will lie anyway. And you just really need to make sure that when you buy a car, maybe you can, it'll be a good idea to maybe bring a mechanic with you. And one thing also about buying a car here, well, I think all financing company are ridiculously charge you very high interest, and the car that we are buying, they charge 40% interest. When we bought the multi-cab, they charge 40% interest. So it's like by the time you finish paying it, you pay almost double the car.
So triple on depending on what it is. But interest rate here is just, it's like highway robbery, man. It's better not to buy anything on a loan, because you're going to pay 2 or 3 times more for it than you actually did.
So if it is possible, it's better to pay cash for it. But like I said, not all people can pay cash for a car. That's why we make, just like us, we can't afford to pay cash for our car, so we had to get a loan and make payments on it. And by the time it's be done paying it, then we paid almost double, really. So,
and good cars are not cheap here. You know, no, they're not.
In the US, you can buy a car $3,000 and it's in a good shape. In here, the cars seem to be more expensive than the US.
$3,000 will get you a clunker here.
Yeah, $3,000 is probably, I don't know, maybe it will get you 1 kilometer away and it will break down. So, you know, I'm not saying it's all, but there is this new cars here, or they call it here minivan. It's very practical car actually. It's like the engine is made in Japan, so there's so many on that minivans in here now. You can pay one for 300,000.
Surplus from Japan. You know, I think in Japan they can only put like 130,000 kilometers on an engine, and then they can't use it anymore. And so they'll ship them over here in parts. That way they don't have to pay the tariff on them, because they're car parts. And then when they get here, they put them back together, repaint them, recondition them, and they do a good job on them, man. They look pretty sharp, and they got air conditioning in them. You can get them 4-wheel drive vans, little minivans, $6,000, you know, you can get one.
Yeah, a lot of them, they're very nice. You can pick different colors, and
they put them.
You can customize it.
Yeah, they put nice wheels and tires on them. You know, we bought that multi-cab. It was 4-wheel drive multi-cab, and it was just like that. They reconditioned, put it together, and when we bought it, drove it off the lot. We had some issues with it, so I don't think they rebuild the engines. I think they maybe tune them up and maybe change the oil. But as long as they run, they'll stick them in there and put them together and sell them.
Yeah, that's for about the cars, guys. I thought I still have something to say about the lots, but I can't think of what to say about any more of the lot now. But if we can find out later, then we can share it with you. If you have any maybe more knowledge about it, then we will appreciate it if you comment it down.
The big thing to observe is the clean title. If you're going to build on it, is the clean title, and find out if it's in a flood zone. And you know, you can buy one that's in a small flood zone, just build up the lot and build on top of that. But those are the conditions mainly I think that we need to watch out for.
Yeah. So guys, I guess that is enough of talking. I don't know if you are making this far listening to us, but maybe some that wanted to know more and the information about buying lands and buying cars here in the Philippines. I hope this helps you.
If you have any questions, let us know.
Yeah, just let us know if you have any questions.
I mean, this
in
is to the
comment.
best of our knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, we're not experts on all of this, but just the experience that we've had here, almost 6 years, in this area. Other areas might be different situations.
Yeah, might be cheaper in some area, might be more expensive in some area.
Yeah.
All I know though that the closer you are into the city, the more expensive it is. But then if you live in a rural or some like kind of like remote area, then the price ranges. It depends on is it close to the beach or the ocean, or if it is a flooded area, that's when the price may be a little cheap because it's flooded.
Yeah, who wants to live there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, that is it, guys, for this video. Thank you so much for listening to our explanation, and I hope that it helps you.
Yeah, I hope cleared up some of your questions, or maybe it developed more, I don't know, but thanks for watching, appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys, and we will see you again on tomorrow's video.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.